On today's Bengals Breakdown, with the start of free agency just a few days away, we're taking a look at a realistic but still perfect, I think, free agency plan for the Bengals. $48.55 million, give or take, in salary cap space. The Bengals can once again spend if they so choose to, knowing they won't be as aggressive as some other teams out there. Step number one, you might not like it, it's to cut Joe Mixon, the running back. I can get even more money and probably pay my next running back the same amount or cheaper and get a better player. He's due $8.85 on the cap this year. I save $6.1 million with a release. I will make note, if you do a multi-year deal for a player, you can pay them $7 million a year, $8 million a year, and they're probably only going to count half of that on your year one salary cap. I can get a pretty good running back in this class for less than what I'd pay Joe Mixon this season. So do you agree with me? Would you cut Mixon this offseason? Y for yes, N for no. Now, part of me was like, let's just make this Clyde Edwards-Helaire. We'll sign him and go cheap and spend money elsewhere. But we're doing the perfect plan. Let's aim a little bit higher. Let's take Zach Moss from the Indianapolis Colts. 4.3 yards per carry last year. Offered some big plays. He looked fairly comparable to what the Colts got out of Jonathan Taylor this past season. Now, Jonathan Taylor, by the way, had 169 carries for 741 yards, 7 touchdowns at 4.4 average. So very similar production there. I will say, I wonder how much Moss ends up getting. I wonder if this is going to be the dream target for a bunch of teams of like cheaper running back option, and the end result is he gets a little bit more than you might expect. But to pair him with Chase Brown, I think is a really fun 1-2 punch at running back, and probably costs you the same or less than what you'd be paying Joe Mixon. And Moss showed last year he offers you more explosive and better results. More explosive plays and better results, Still several steps to go. But name a free agent who you want the Bengals to sign outside the organization, so to speak. It's the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. We did mention Mike Onwenu on yesterday's video. It just makes so much sense to pursue this one again. The numbers in 2023 were pretty solid. Not terrible. It was a little slow start and then got going once he kind of stabilized after being consistently shuffled position to position. 3 sacks, 2 hits, 18 hurries, a 72.2 run blocking grade. You would sign Onwenu with the idea of, hey, you're going to come in and you're going to be our right tackle. We're going to plug you in over there. You fit the run blocking mindset we tend to like to have in our offensive tackles, the power players. We'll plug you in at right tackle. By the way, if somebody slides to us in round 1, we're going to go ahead and take them, and we might put you over to left guard. But we're still paying you, good-ish money, provided there's not a bidding war they have to win. But we're going to focus on, maybe a receiver falls to us instead. Maybe we go corner. Maybe more likely we take defensive tackle. But we're going to plug you in as one of our 5 starters up front, no matter what. And you feel better about that. The guy can play right tackle or could play left guard, which is some pretty unusual position flexibility. Step 4 is to re-sign DJ Reader. I know he's coming off the quad injury. That is a massive red flag. This is a very good football player. And this is one of the better run stoppers in the NFL. And the injury probably means he'll come at a discount. And you don't have to pay him as much as you would have had to pay him before his injury. So because of that, I would like to retain DJ Reader. I would like to keep him on my depth chart at defensive tackle because I need help even if I keep him this offseason. So will the Bengals bring back DJ Reader? R for they're going to re-sign him. L for they will lose him. Get those predictions in for me in the comments. Another defensive tackle up here, that is Javon Kinlaw. I'm going much cheaper on this next one and gambling on the former first-round pick, finally taking that breakout. The first couple years of Kinlaw's career were simply not productive. He showed some promise in 2020, missed time with injuries, played 10 games total, 2021, 2022, showed some flashes, 4 TFLs, 3.5 sacks in 2023. This would be a 1-year deal. This would be a relatively cheap contract to put him into Cincinnati, pair him with Reader, pair him with BJ Hill, potentially a draft pick if the board falls the right way for you early on. Although maybe you could take, maybe if you do this right, you could take Jackson Powers Johnson in round 1 and have him replace Ted Karras down the line. Do your year planning in advance thing this team loves to do. And you upgrade your depth at minimum for Cincinnati and allow yourself to have some better talent on the interior where I think you were lacking a little bit this season. Now, the Bengals NFL Jam shirts are still available. Go to chatsports.com/Bengals Jam to get yours today. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are not going anywhere anytime soon. Chatsports.com/Bengals Jam. We'll put that link for you in the comments and the description of today's video. Producer Chris is too young to know what the NFL Jam is, or NFL Jam was. Awesome game. I think this is an awesome t-shirt as well. Sometimes they go on sale, by the way. So go check chatsports.com/Bengals Jam. Step 6, let's get a tight end in here. Let's bring back Hayden Hurst. This does assume, and you know what happens when you assume, that the medical concerns, the concussion stuff for Hurst is cleared, but one of his best seasons came with Joe Burrow. And if you're going to go the cheapo tight end route, while still keeping the door open for drafting somebody early on in the first couple rounds, I think Hurst makes sense. We know he fits the scheme. He fit it very well in 2022. He got paid by Carolina. He wasn't playing that well. Then he got a concussion. He could come back and try to rehab that stock again and potentially cash in again next year. And it would be funny and also kind of cool if you went down this path, right? You sign Hayden Hurst. You back in 2021, in the offseason going into 2022, has a nice year. You get a comp pick. You allow him to leave to Carolina. You bring him back. You draft somebody to groom behind him with a top, let's call it top 150 pick. Then you move on from Hayden Hurst. He plays well for you this year, and you get another comp pick. That's how you game the system in the NFL. Step 7 might be a little bit bold. I'm going to add a safety. That's Jordan Whitehead. I'm not out on Daxton Hill, but I need to have some more insurance policies here, and I wouldn't be opposed to utilizing more 3 safety looks either. I think Whitehead can play some deep safety for you, can do some split safety stuff, offers playmaking, can fit alongside with or opposite or in place of Jordan Battle and Daxton Hill. Maybe then you plan on making Daxton Hill a nickel corner full-time. Now that kind of complicates things short-term because you still have Mike Hilton there, but this team is too competitive, too close to being a championship caliber team to just say, we'll be fine with whatever at safety. You missed Jesse Bates last year. Make no mistake, Whitehead is no Jesse Bates caliber player, but he is a good starting safety and would be a much better piece than Nick Scott was. Now, when it comes to the NFL draft, news, rumors, free agency coverage, trades, everything else in between, we have you guys covered. Do not miss out. Hit that sub button right now here on Bengals Breakdown. The last step is kind of a lame one, but it is important. I'm going to retain some of my linebacker depth. I like my top 2 guys. I'm not out on Logan Wilson nor Jermaine Pratt, although I am open to drafting somebody on day 3. Devin Harper's under contract. Maybe he's a piece for you. Maybe he's not. Maybe he fights for a role. But my linebackers 3 to 5, Akeem Davis-Gaither, Marcus Bailey, and Joe Bocci are all free agents. I might not re-sign all 3, although if they're going to sign 1-year deals with little to no guaranteed money, those are never a bad signing. I do want to retain at least 2 of them so I don't have to draft somebody. My goal is to set myself up via free agency to the draft to where I don't have to take one position. There are spots I would like to take, but I can take the best player available regardless of position within reason. I'm not going quarterback in round 2, But it allows me to set myself up to where I can take the best player available, give me some flexibility long-term, and not have to rely on a draft class making a massive impact in year 1 when you're so close to being a championship caliber team. So grade my Bengals free agency plan. A, B, C, D, or F. Go ahead and sound off where else but the comments section.